So may recording. Okay. Okay, so with that, let's start with energy. Okay. So when we say energy, no, the definition is actually vague, but yun na yung meaning niya, no. So according to our high school physics, no, we define energy as the capacity to do work, no. So ano lang meaning na, no. So if you are able to displace objects, no, if you are able to move object from one point to another, then you have your so yeah. So we know that there are lots of versions of energy, no? So maraming uri ng energy, but the more common forms of energy that we know are the kinetic energy and the potential energy. When we say kinetic energy, that is the energy that is involved in moving objects, no? Okay, so whenever there is movement, there is energy. Okay. So potential energy, on the other hand, this is the energy that is involved for that is the energy involved for objects which are static, no, hindi gumagalaw. For example, yung router ng Converge na walang internet, no. So yun. The object, no, is not moving, yet it still possesses energy, no. Okay, for example, this calculator, so I am holding my calculator still. Okay, so it doesn't move, but it doesn't mean that it do not have any energy, you know. It has potential energy in it, no, stored energy, no. And based on the physics definition, we define the potential energy as the mass of your object times the gravitational acceleration times the vertical displacement of your object or the height, no. So that's the idea. Hey, so I know you're very familiar with this too, no. Okay, and to be honest, no, there are lots of versions of energy pa, no. So I know in your high school you're able to discuss enthalpy, entropy, Gibbs free energy, so on and so forth. But we will not cover all of them. No? So surface lang tayo. Okay. So going back to energy, there's lots of examples of energy, no, such as mechanical energy, the energy that you can found in moving objects, no. Ayan, yung mga gumagalaw na gears, yung cars, so on and so forth. Light energy, this pertains to the energy that is in the photons, no. The yung light particles, no, as they move, they possess energy. We call that kinetic light energy. Yeah. Heat is another form of energy transfer, no, wherein you move your thermal energy from one location to another. So that means that uh, energy is not only the capacity to do work, no. What I mean by that is yung energy hindi lang siya limited sa moving objects, no. It could also move energy, no. So energy can move energies from one position to the other position, no. Yun nga, it is exemplified by heat, no. So yun. Electrical energy, this is the energy when your electrons are moving, hence producing electricity. So yun, no. So in chemistry, marami ring uri tayo ng energies. We have lots of versions of energies. But we are more concerned on what's called the chemical energy. So chemical energy is like the potential energy in chemistry, no? Okay. So it is the energy that is stored in chemical substances, usually in the form of chemical bonds, no? But you can take your screenshots while I'm ano ba yan? Ay, gumawa. Yan. So, so yan na. So chemical energies are the energies stored, no? So that means it is a potential energy for molecules, no? No. And that is usually found, no, as chemical bonds. No? So when you break those chemical bonds, what happens is that they release energy. No? If you form chemical bonds, uh, they absorb energy, so on and so forth. No? For example, kunwari ngayon, you are eating your breakfast. No? What happens is that the glucose molecules in your carbohydrates, no, they are being broken down by cellular metabolism. No? As they break down your food, what happens is that it is producing energy
Mm-mm.
and heat. No? So that's why mainit yung tao. And that's why our physiological temperature is kept at 37 degrees, no? Because of that, because of that process, no? When your molecules are consistently being broken down into smaller chunks, no? That releases heat, no? So that keeps you alive, no? One good example, which is also tragic example, is that um, that that incident in Beirut. No, I know you are familiar. Say it has been on social media for quite some time. Then, no, what happened there is they have ammonium nitrate. No, okay, so all the bonds in ammonium nitrate. No, ano nangyari? No, what happened is that the ammonium nitrate is combusted, no? It ignited, and it produced lots of products, no? Smaller products, no? Such as NO2, nitrous oxide, oxygen, hydrogen gas, water, so on and so forth, or any combinations of all those molecules. No? Okay, so yung NO, the nitrous oxide, this is the orange plume that you saw in the video. Di ba? When you watch the video, may orange na cloud, no? That is actually the nitrous oxide from ammonium nitrate. Okay. So what are the recipe for the disaster here, no? So nitrous oxide, this is toxic when inhaled, so you may die with this, no? What else? Oxygen and hydrogen gases are very flammable. That means it can ignite any time, no? So yun. So you have your oxidizer, oxygen. You have your fuel, hydrogen gas, or whatever combustible materials are there in the factory or in the storage facility. So yeah, so you have your oxygen molecules from this and the hydrogen molecules being produced by this molecule as well. No? So as the bonds of all this molecule, as the bond of this molecule um, is is cut, no? Pag naputol yung bond, if those chemical bonds break up, no, they produce a lot of energy, no? Kaya nakita nyo sa video, di ba? Nagkaroon na ang sound barrier, no? Yung explosion and it actually broke the sound barrier, no? Nakita nyo yung white cloud, no? Yun. Yun lang, share ko lang. So yun na yung idea, no? That when we harness the energy from chemical bonds, it could be beneficial for us because it allows us to live, and it could also be deadly, no? Because of its strength, no? Napakalakas niyan, no? According to Einstein, no? Let's move on. So according to Einstein naman, there is an equivalence from energy to matter, no, or energy to mass, and that is given by his famous equation E equals mc square, no. So alam natin yan. What does that equation tells us, no? Sabi lang ng equation na yon is that energy has an equivalent value in terms of mass. So that means mass can also be converted to energy, no. Okay, so you just multiply it by the speed of light squared, no. So that implies that if there is a law of conservation of mass, there should also be a law on the conversion of energy. That's why we use the term energy and mass interchangeably sometimes, di ba? Okay. So anyway, so what is the law of conservation of energy? No? So it just tells us that energy cannot be created nor destroyed. That means it is conserved. No, you cannot create new energy out of nowhere. Okay, so that energy has to has to ano yun? Nawala ako. So that energy that you think you formed, no, hindi naman talaga siya na-form. It is just converted, no, from its precursor, no. That's why siguro some of you are familiar with perpetual motion and machines, no? So, those objects actually violate the law of conservation of energy. So, fake yung mga ganung bagay, no? So, you cannot create more energy out of the energy you input to that system, no? Hindi ka pwede makakuha ng mas maraming energy. So, there's no such thing as free energy, no, or extra energy, no. Okay, then what else, no? Yan, we know that we can only convert matter from one to another. That means energy can also be converted from one form to another, no. So take for example, may kamay, no. So pagdikitin ko sila, I will rub my hands, no. So what energy does this system possess, no? So there is a movement. So ano meron dito? Kinetic energy, right? No? Okay, so but the lost kinetic energy due to friction of my molecules that results in uh, thermal energy, no? So nagkakaroon ng init yung kamay ko because of the lost energy, or that means that the kinetic energy is being converted into another version which is heat, no? So yun lang yung idea. We can convert energy from one to another, no? So from kinetic to heat energy, okay, or thermal energy, so on and so forth. Okay, so that's the idea about energy. Okay, so what we're going to focus on today, ito lang naman yung discuss natin talaga, no? Because we're done with the measurements, no? So today we are going to focus on heat, no? Okay, so what is heat and what is the distinction between heat and temperature? Okay, so let's discuss now. Okay, so as I told you earlier, when I say heat, that is actually the energy transfer, no? So, yun. So, that is the energy that is involved in moving energies. Yun. So, parang yun yung idea, no? So, what happens is that, according to our previous discussion, we said that temperature is the average kinetic energy of your molecules, no? And that average kinetic molecules, ay, nawala ako. And those average kinetic energy of the molecules, no? Di ba gumagalaw-galaw sila, no? They are being translated into thermal energy, no? So, yung friction nila, that produces thermal energy, no? Okay. So, when that thermal energy is transferred from one system into the other, doon nagkakaroon ng transfer of energy in the form of heat, no? Okay? Only when there is a contact, no, from one system to the other. As long as there is a temperature difference, no, there will be a heat, no, heat transfer, no, or energy transfer, no. Okay, so we actually feel that, no, every time, no. For example, I have this cold water with me, no? Okay, so compared to the cold water, no, my body is mainit, no. So medyo mainit ako ngayon, pero wala akong sakit, no. Kasi 37 degrees ako, no. So yun, same kagaya niya. Itong water molecules naman dito, nasa freezer to, so may yellow. So I believe this is around 2 to 3 degrees Celsius, I don't know, no. So when I touch this this water bottle, no, na malamig, no. Pag ginawakan ko yan, I can feel the coldness, no. Ano pang example? Kunwari, I have coffee, no. So if I touch my coffee cup, no, I can feel it as mainit, no. Okay? Because the perception of hotness and coldness is one way for us to observe heat, no? To observe the energy transfer, no? If you feel something na malamig, no? For example, yun nga yung water or ice. If you touch water or ice, no, and you feel it as something cold, that only means that you are actually losing energy, no? Every time you lose energy, you feel cold, no? Okay. Or as a consequence, the temperature drops, no? So yun yung ating idea. Okay. So every time you lose energy, you feel cold, the temperature is going down, no? Bakit, no? Kasi yun nga, no? The colder system, yung water, yung ice, no? Kinukuha niya yung energy niyo, no? Until to the point na your temperatures will balance out, no? Until same na kayo ng temperature na 37 degrees Celsius. So there will be no more there will be no more movement of energy. Hence, you cannot feel coldness or hotness, no? So wala na tayong perception of the energy transfer. So yun lang yung idea. Okay. So again, what is the distinction between heat and temperature? When we say heat, that is the process of transferring energy. Okay. Temperature is a consequence of that energy transfer. No? This is something that we feel because of this process. No? Okay. Bakit kaya ganun? No? Ganun siguro talaga. No? So we cannot see the energy itself. No? We cannot see the energy moving from one to another. No? Kaya there is another sense, no, na gumagana for us to perceive this idea. So anyway, what else? No? So when measuring energy, no, we can actually measure energy just like other forms of measurement. No? Okay. So when we measure energy, we express them in units of calories. No? We can also express this, no, in its official SI unit, which is the joule. No? So ito yung ginagamit natin nung high school. No? We're using joules in our Gen Chem discussions, no, in our high school because this is the SI unit. No? Just so happen that some people are fond using calories. No? Not only some people, no, but the food industry is also using calories. No? Okay. For example, you have your food with you, no, any snack bar, no. For example, yung example ko hapon, yung Lucky Me, no? So, Lucky Me contains 84 kilocalories, no? So, that only means that you can get 84 kilocalories of energy from your food, no? In the form of chemical energy, no? So, yun. And when that 84 kilocalories is transferred to you, no, your body will break those molecules down, no, to produce energy, no, and to get the nutrients na needed for you to survive. No. So yun lang yung idea. So again, let's summarize this slide. Heating is the energy transfer. Temperature, no, is a consequence of this process. No, okay. This is the perception. This is how this energy transfer is perceived by your body. No? Kasi in kinetic energy, we can see that. No? You can see my hands moving. So that's one way for me to perceive that there is energy there. No? But for invisible objects such as energies, no? Energy transfer, no? I perceive that as temperature differences, no? Or temperature change. No? Idea of hotness and coldness. What else, no? We discussed that the unit for energy or and heat, no, is calories, no, but the official unit is joule, no. So if you want to convert calories to joules, you just use this equivalence, or you can use this conversion factor, no. So that tells us that 1 calorie is equal to 4.184 joules, no. So yun lang. We will use all these ideas mamaya, no. Okay. Okay, so let's go now to specific heat, no? So siguro some of you are having war flashbacks, no? Because we are actually on the calorimetry discussion, no? During your senior high school, no? So calorimetry tayo, no? Okay, so what is specific heat, no? Okay, so every objects, no? If you want to increase the temperature, that means you have to provide energy into it, no? The question is how much. Yung answer natin would be the specific heat, no? How much energy do you have to transfer to a certain object for its temperature to increase, no? Okay. So according to specific heat, no, sabi niya, these numbers, ito yung mga numbers na to, these are the amount of heats necessary to raise the temperature of 1 gram of a substance by 1 degree Celsius. So that means if you want to raise the temperature of your water by 1 degree Celsius, you have to provide 1 calories, no, per gram, no. So magpo-provide ka ng 1 calories, 1 calorie, no. Isa lang pala yun. Okay, so you have to provide 1 calorie of heat in order for the temperature of the water to increase by 1 degree Celsius, no? Knowing na the amount of substance is 1 gram, no? What if I want to raise my temperature to 5 degrees Celsius, no? That means you have to uh, add you have to apply 5 calories naman, no, of energy to water for its temperature to increase by 5 degrees Celsius, provided that we have 1 gram of base substance, no. Okay. So, ano mapapansin natin, no? There is a relationship between heat or between the energy, the mass of the substance, and the temperature, no? So parang there is a direct relationship between them, no? So as you increase the temperature more, no, the more heat you have to provide, no? As you increase also the amount of your substance, that means that you have to apply more heat, no? Hence we can come up with an equation for a specific heat, which is Q equals MC delta T. This notation sa baba, I don't like this, no? So I don't use that. This is something that we are more familiar, no? The Q equals MC delta T. So I know you're familiar with this, no? So Q is the amount of heat, no? So yan, Q is the amount of heat, M is the mass of your substance, C is the specific heat, which is constant and is different from one object to another. And delta T, this is your change in temperature, no? Whenever we are solving for delta, or we're solving for changes, it is always the final state minus the initial state. So that means I can rewrite the equation as Q equals MC times temperature final minus temperature initial, no? So yun yung idea. So yan, so alam nyo to, no? Okay. So sige, let's proceed with just some few examples, no? So we have 4 examples to discuss, then that's good na for this day, no? Kasi ganun lang. Yun lang naman yung pag-uusapan natin talaga today. Okay, so anyway, let's proceed. So, for example, we have this question: how many calories are required to heat 352 grams of water from 23 degrees Celsius to 95 degrees Celsius. The specific heat of water is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. No? So, to solve for the calories, no, we just use the formula for specific heat, which is Q equals mc delta T. So, Q equals mc delta T, or the change in temperature. So, we are asked, what is Q? So, if you are solving for Q, you should have an idea on the mass of your substance, its specific heat, and the temperature range, no, or the temperature difference. Mali. Sige. Okay. So, ano meron? Anyway. Sige. So, solving for Q, we have to know the mass of your substance, your specific heat, and the temperature range, no, or the temperature difference. No. So looking at the problem, we have the mass of your substance, which is 352. We have the specific heat, which is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. And we have the temperature range, no, 23 to 95. So we have all the required variables, no, to solve for Q. So the rest is just, you have to plug in all those numbers, no, into the equation. So for mass, we plug in 352 grams here. For the specific heat, we plug in the 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. And for the delta T, we plug in 95 minus 23. 95 degrees Celsius is the final temperature. 23 is the initial temperature. No? So if you're still getting confused about which one is the final, which one is the initial temperature, you only have to look for some keywords, no? Especially this keyword from and the keyword to. No? From tells you that this is the initial temperature. To tells you that this is the final temperature. No? So yan. So yan, so all you have to do is to multiply the number, no? And to make sure that the units will cancel out, no? Remember, the energy unit, our final, when we do this operation. So, ano kaya nangyayari? Nawawala-wala ako, no? Hi, guys. Hello,
Hi
guys.
sir, rinig ka na po namin.
Ayun. Nawawala-wala, no? So, yun. Pasensya na. Naiirita din ako sa Converge. Anyway, so, yun, no? So, saan tayo, no? So, as I told you, no? You have to multiply the mass, the specific heat, and the temperature difference, no? And as I told you also earlier, the final unit should only be in terms of energy, no? So, kailangan our final unit should be calories or joules. Okay? So, that means your grams and the degree Celsius unit should cancel out now. So, yun. So, looking at the equation, we can cancel grams and the degree Celsius, no? So, the actual answer there is, teka lang, solve ko. 23. So, the final answer is actually 25344 calories, no? But we can express this into scientific notation. We can express this as 2.5 times 10 raised to 4 calories, or in terms of kilocalories now. When we are going to convert this, itong calories into kilocalories, all we have to do is to divide this number by 'Ano ba yan? The reason why my connection is ayun, bakit siya napuputol is the computer tries to switch my network, no, from my hotspot to the Wi-Fi signal, no. So anyway, uh, ayun, so I hope na nasundan niyo yung solving natin, no. So just to solve for the heat, no, the energy required, you just have to multiply mass, the specific heat, and the temperature difference, no. Okay, so yun lang yung equation na kailangan natin today, no, and that ends our first chapter. Before we proceed with the examples, do you have any questions or clarifications? Or everything is good pa naman? Guys, may questions kayo? May clarification? Or okay pa naman?
Wala po, sir.
Nasusundan pa naman
Okay
po.
pa naman po.
Sige
Opo.
po. Mamaya
Sundan po.
sige, salamat po. No? Thank you for bearing with me. Anyway, so okay, so the equation that we will use is just Q equals MC delta T, no? So yan lang, no? So we will use this equation with the rest of our problems, no? Sige, so I will now move dito sa ating worksheet, no? So I hope you have your worksheet number 2, no? So because this worksheet contains specific heat problems, no? Okay, so I want you to take a screenshot of this, no? Ayan, of this image shown to you. We're going to answer 9, 10, and 11, no? So I want you to take a screenshot, no? Para mamaya tuloy-tuloy tayo. Okay, so the same, do screenshot nyo rin to, no? Take a screenshot of this image because these are the items that we are going to work on with today, no? And yan. Sige. So yan. So I believe you have your screenshots with you na, no? So we can answer number 9, no? So for number 9, the question is how many calories are required to heat 731 grams of water from 8 degrees Celsius to 74 degrees Celsius. No? So, to answer this, you have to identify your given. So, given the mass is 731 grams of water, what else? The initial temperature is 8 degrees Celsius because of this keyword from, no? So it tells you that that temperature is the initial temperature, di ba? The final temperature is 74 degrees Celsius. And we are asked to find for Q, or the heat na. So we just use the formula Q equals mc delta T. Or I can expand the delta T as the final temp minus the initial temperature. Okay. So let's check muna, no? So let's check if we have all the information needed, no, for this problem. So we are going to solve for Q. That means all these other variables in the equation should be given, no? So let's see. So we have mass here. So okay na siya. We have temperature here, no? How about specific heat, no? So how are we going to look for the specific heat, no? Okay. So, paano natin hanapin yung specific heat, no? So, because the identity of our substance is given, no? Water siya. We can look for that, we can look sa table, no? Kung what is the specific heat of water, no? So, alam niyo na yun, no? That it is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius, no? So, lagay natin dito. Specific heat is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius, no? Pero if hindi nyo alam, no, titingin lang tayo sa table, no? Itong table natin. Ay, no. Ayaw na rin ng PowerPoint. Kakagising lang na ito. Saan yan? Ito. So, yan. Okay. Ayan. So, just in case na you don't have the specific heat with you, I hope you have a copy of this, no? Kunan nyo nga siya ng screenshot, no? Screenshot nyo siya para you have a copy of this table. Okay. So, feel ko meron na kayong screenshot na. So, we can proceed, no? So, according to the table, the specific heat of water is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. No? So, all I have to do is to plug in all the numbers, no? So, that's Q equals 731 grams times your specific heat, no? Which is 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius times the change in temperature na. So, final temperature minus initial temperature. So, that is 74 minus 8 degrees Celsius now. So, you can see I factored out the degrees Celsius. Now, we can do that now. Okay. Okay, so what else now? So, we're left with this equation. Ano na lang gagawin natin, no? We cancel the units, no? So, since we are solving for Q, the final unit should be in calories or joules, no? Depending on the given, no? So, yun. We cancel the grams. We cancel also the degrees Celsius. So, we come up with an answer of, if you already solved for this message nyo na lang, pipindutin ko pa sa calcu eh. Ayun na. So, Q is 48246 calories. Again, I can report this answer in kilocalories, no? So, I can write it as 48.246 kilocalories, no? Kcal. Or I can use scientific notation 4.8246 times 10 raised to 1, 2, 3, 4 calories. No? So, any of which is correct naman. No? So, tama naman ito, tama din to, no? Okay. So, yun lang. No? So, yun. So, do you have any questions for number 9? Or okay pa naman?
Wala po. Okay po, sir.
Okay po, sir.
Okay pa po.
okay pa naman. Mamaya hindi na tayo okay, no? Kasi sasagutan natin yung number 2, no? So, for number 2 tuloy. For number 10, no? So, I want you to try to answer number 10 and 11, no? So, sagutan nyo si 10 and 11. Then later on, I will present you the solution. So, just to see if you understand the equation or the discussion well. So, I'm giving you 5 minutes no, to solve for numbers 10 and 11. So, yan. So, cut ko muna yung aking uh, camera. Okay, so yun lang. So, try to answer 10 and 11 and we will um, proceed answering this now after. By the way, no, keep in mind your algebra, no. So you have to do some algebra, you have to do some manipulation because you are going to derive equations, no. You are going to derive equations from saan yung ballpen na ito? You're going to derive equations from this equation, no. For number 10, you are asked what is TF, no. So you have to derive an equation in terms of TF, no. For number 11, you're asked to solve for C. So you are going to derive an equation in terms of C. So I believe you can do that now. So I'll give you time to answer that. Okay, so I believe you're done with number 10, no? So what's your answer? Sige, you can comment it on our chat, no? In our chat box. So comment your answers on the chat box, then we will solve for it, no? Okay lang, don't be shy. Tayo-tayo lang naman dito. Sir, is it 20.91 degrees Celsius? Sige. It's okay, no? So, Zoila's answer is 20.91. Huaweion, 45.91. Okay. Any other answers? Hawon na lang, sir. Ang impression ko kay Hawon. Kaya English ako dito. Kasi akala ko as in full blown English tayo dapat. Pero okay lang. Okay, so Ranzid 20.91, Trisha 45.99, 45.91, Danielle, Maria Shimvery 45.9, Frances 45.9. Okay, so let's see if your answers are correct, no? So teka. Yan, sige. So burahin ko lang muna ito. So the correct answer is 45.91. Okay. So question, paano? So sir, paano yan, no? Sige. So I will show you the solution, no? Sige. So given. So you're given the mass of iron, 100 grams iron. The initial temperature is 25, no? Kasi yun yung condition niya dito. So initial temperature is 25 degrees Celsius. Then according to the problem, that iron at 25 degrees Celsius is heated by adding 230 calories, no? So from that statement alone, from that sentence alone, we should have an intuition that the final answer should be higher in temperature than 25, no? So kailangan mas mataas yung temperature kaysa sa 25, no? So yun dapat yung idea, no? So whenever you are adding energy to your system, the temperature increases, no? So yun dapat yung first intuition natin sa problem. So we add this amount of heat, no? We added this amount of energy, so the temperature should go high, no? So that's one way to approach this problem, no? So we interpret it per sentence, no? So question is find the final temperature, no? So ayun, no? We use the formula Q is equals to MC TF minus TI. But we are looking for TF, no? So since we are solving for TF, we have to write an equation in terms of TF alone, no? So that means we have to derive an equation where the TF, no, is isolated to the rest of the known variables, no? Ililipat natin si TF sa side ng equation na siya lang mag-isa. All other variables, no, such as Q, M, C, and TI ay nasa opposite side naman, no? Okay, so how are we going to do that, no? Palitan ko yung ball pen ko. Ano kaya pwedeng kulay? Green, no? Okay. So, to isolate TF from the rest of these terms, I have to I have to divide both sides first by MC, no? I will divide both sides by MC, so I can cancel MC here, no? Okay, so with that, I have Q over MC equals C times TF minus TI. Ay, ba't naiwan yung C? Nakalimutan yung initial temp. Ayun. Sige. Okay. So now we have this equation. Ayusin ko lang ulit. TF minus TI. So now we have this equation, no? Q over MC equals TF minus TI. No? So, okay na sana because we have the TF here, no? But we have also TI here, no? The initial temperature there, no? Okay, so in order to move your TI, no, from the right-hand side of our equation to the left-hand side, no, we have to add TI on both sides, no. That is to ensure that this and this will cancel out, no. So yeah, so we're left with just TF alone on the right side of the equation, no. Okay, so I will rewrite this, no, kasi as for my experience, sanay ako that the missing variable is always on the left side, no. And that's what my algebra teacher told me, no. So ganun gagawin ko. So I will rewrite the equation as TF equals TI plus Q over MC. Okay, so now I have my working equation. Then I can proceed, no, solving for TF, no. So all I have to do is to plug in all the numbers, no, including the units. Do not forget the units, no. So that's 25 degrees Celsius plus 230 calories divided by mass, which is 100 grams. Then what is the specific heat of iron, no? So I don't know. I am going to look at my table. So ayun, so we see iron, no? The specific heat for iron is 0.11. So copyhin lang natin. 0, ay, pangit sulat ko. 0.11 calories per gram degrees Celsius, no? Before we start calculating, let's check first, no, if our units can be cancelled, no. Kasi the final unit should be degrees Celsius kasi this is a temperature reading, di ba? So kailangan, if we have degrees Celsius here, this term should also give us degrees Celsius, no. So let's see if the units will cancel out, giving us degrees Celsius for this part of the equation. Sige, try natin. We can cancel calories. We can also cancel grams. And we're left with 1 over degrees Celsius. Again, how do we deal with a fraction in a fraction? How do we deal with this type of equation? Ano uli ginagawa dito? In order to
Multiply the
simplify
reciprocal.
this, in order to simplify this, we multiply the numerator with the reciprocal of your denominator, no? So, yun. So, 1 times degrees Celsius over 1 is just degrees Celsius. So, that means our equation is correct, no? Ako kasi, no, when I am solving for a problem, sometimes I don't know the equation, no? Wala lang, kasi during my chemistry days, no, when I was in my undergrads, no, super daming equations and wala kaming index card. So you really have to memorize all those all those equations, no. If ever I forgot my equation, no, ang ginagawa ko na lang, I check the units, no. I check kung sino pwede mag-cancel out, no. So, ginagawa ko. So, yan. So far, okay naman siya, no? Never pa naman ako nagkamali doon. So, yun, no? As long as you know your algebra, no? You can do problem solving even hindi nyo alam yung yung equation na. So, yan. Nanguhula lang ako ng equation minsan, no? Kaya, yun. Sana kayo rin. So, anyway, I'm going to solve for that, no? 25, 230, 100 times 0.11. The answer is 45.90. I will round this up to 91 na lang, no? To 2 decimal places. So that is our solution for number 10. No? So you can take a screenshot, no, for your reference. No? Ba't ang ingay na messenger? So anyway, so you can take a screenshot for your reference. Okay. Do you have any questions? Okay naman. Sige. Wala nang salita. Okay pa naman tayo dyan? Or nakakasunod pa naman po ba?
Okay po, sir.
Okay. So,
Yes, sir.
salamat po. No? If you can follow the discussion, no, just tell me right away, no? Para sulit yung tuition ninyo, no? Basta lahat ng question, tanong yun na. Wag lang yung nasa quiz, no? Pati yung exam. So, yun lang. Okay, so yan. So, let's proceed with number 11, no? So, burahin ko muna ito. Ang ingay na messenger. Anyway, number 11, it required 88.2 calories. So, Q is 88.2 calories to hit 13.4 grams. So, that's the mass of a known substance from, so initial temperature, 23 degrees Celsius to 176 degrees Celsius. So, yan. We're going to solve for the specific heat now. Actually, you can identify your material, no, based on the specific heat. No? So, kasi, tignan natin yung table. No? So, looking at the table, each material, no, they correspond to a different specific heat. No? For example, yung water, that's always 1 calorie per gram degree Celsius. Yung ice, 0.48 na. So, yan. So, we can actually identify our material based on the specific heat. No? So, you can expect that type of situation in your quiz. No? Pero, I will not give the quiz muna. No? Because, yun nga, some of you are, I believe not all, no, do not have the access sa, sa Cengage pa, no? And we are actually consulting pa sa aming group, no, on how to do the assessment for the laboratory. No? So anyway, so you have more time to review, no? So yan, so we can identify our matter, no, our material based on the specific heat. No? But this problem, sabi lang niya, solve for the specific heat lang. So, yan. So, hindi natin siya i-compare sa table. So, we're going to solve for this specific heat. So, that is Q equals MC TF minus TI. So, we have to write an equation that is in terms of the specific heat alone. No? So, what we can do is to divide both sides by M and the temperature difference. No? as we do so, we can cancel this term and this term. No? So we're left with Q over M TF minus TI equals C. No? Solving for C, all we have to do is to just plug in all the numbers and make sure, no, that the units should agree with our with the units for specific heat, no. So yun. So kailangan the units, no, kailangan tignan natin kung yun ay unit for specific heat talaga, no. So we should expect that the unit should be calories per gram degree Celsius. Mamaya napagbaliktad nyo yung grams or yung Celsius na pagbaliktad, mali yun na. So, yan. So, always check the units, check the labels. Pag mali label, mali na yun. Okay, so TF, ano yung TF? 176 minus 23 degrees Celsius. As you can see, there will be no units, no, to be cancelled, no. So yan. Wala. So ano solve natin ito? 88.2 divided by 13.4 times 176 minus 23. Okay. So the answer is 0.04 in two decimal places. 0.04 calorie per gram degree Celsius, no. So yun, no. So yun. We can write the answer also in scientific notation if you want, no. So and 4.3 times 10 raised to negative 2 calorie gram degree Celsius, no. So yan, no. You know how to convert decimals into scientific notation naman na, no? So yan, you know how to count significant figures. So I believe you can do well na sa upcoming quiz natin. So I will announce it, no, once we are able to agree on how are we going to give the quiz, no, for the laboratory. So anyway, so nakuha niyo po yung sagot. Do you have the same answer? Diba?
Yes, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Very good, no? Di ba? Ang saya-saya, no? So, yan. So, yes, no? Ito kasi yung idea ng calorimetry nung high school, no? Pakita ko ito yung tuturo ko sa senior high, no? So, in senior high, actually, ano pa tayo, no? Yan, yung bomb calorimeter. Yan, calorimetry tayo. Bomb calorimeter, constant pressure. Then we do experiments also with this topic, no? Sayang, wala tayong lab ngayon. virtual lab lang. So you can watch the videos sa lab, ha? Because those videos are in relation to our discussion. Di ba? Saya-saya. Tapos there was this time na sa senior high chemistry ko, no? Nagpa-integrate ako, calculus, no? So yan, diba? Ay, nako. So yun. Kaya ang motivation ko nga always, no, motivation ko sa aking mga students, no, if kaya ng senior high, kaya din natin, no. So yan. Yun lang, no. Kasi kahit anong field naman, no, yung chemistry yun at yun din naman yung idea niya, no. So even in engineering, no, nagturo ako ng chemistry for engineer way back first semester last year, no. So yun. So ganito pa rin naman yung topic, calorimetry, so on and so forth, no. The idea never changes naman, no. Kaya you don't have to be intimidated na, ay, si ganito, engineer yan, so on and so forth, no. Hindi, pare-parehas lang tayo ng inaaral, no. Kaya yun. As long as you know the algebra, no, as long as you know the methods in solving the problem, no, you will come up with the correct answer, no. So, ayun na. So, I hope, no, na sa ating online class may natututunan tayo, no? Para may justification naman yung tuition fee nating malaki, no? So, yan. So, let's proceed with our last two problems, no? So, again, if you have any questions, no, you can ask me right away or you can send me a message, no, personal message. So, we can address that, no? Sige. So, let's answer the last two problems, no? And after this, pwede na tayo matulog ulit, no? Sige. Kasi ito lang di-discuss natin eh. Tapos na tayo eh. Okay. So, number one, a 466 gram sample of water is heated from 8.5 degrees Celsius to 74.6 degrees Celsius. Calculate the amount of heat absorbed in kilojoules by the water. Specific heat is 4.184 joule per gram degree Celsius. Again, I would like to tell you, no, wag kayong magulat. Huwag kayong magulat with the joule term, no? Because remember, the energy units are calories and joules, no? So, depending on the problem, the unit may change, no? Pero kunwari, I want calories, pero I gave you the specific heat in joules, all you have to do is to convert the units, no? So, yung convert lang tayo, no? So, with that, maglalagay ako ng follow-up sa question, no? What is, sulat ko na lang pala. So, lalagay ako ng follow-up, no? In kilojoules and in calories. Kilocalories na lang. K-cal, no? So, yan. So, we're going to solve for the amount of heat in joules, in kilojoules, and in kilocalories, no? So, the formula is still the same, no? Yun. Given. Siguro inisip nyo, kailangan ba talaga magganyan, no? Ang given. Pinapakita ko lang sa inyo, pero pag ako nagsolve, pinipindot ko na lang sa calc yan eh. Specific heat is 4.184 joule per gram degree Celsius. Initial temp is 8.50. And final temperature is 74.60. Okay, so to solve for Q equals MC TF minus TI. Then, we have to plug in the numbers, no? Plug in lang. So, we have 466 grams times 4.184 joule per gram degree Celsius times the final temperature, 74.6 minus initial, 8.5 degrees Celsius, no? Check if the units will cancel, no? The final unit should be in energy units, no? So, kailangan joule, no? So, that means grams and degrees Celsius should cancel out, no? Cancel. Yan. So, we're left with joules, no? Solve natin. 466. Ang laki ng number. 128,878.0784 joule, no? Okay, so this is not the final answer naman, no? So we can write or two decimal places tayo, ha? So 128.88 kilojoules, no? So I hope nakuha nyo rin yung answer, no? So we can convert this into calories, no? Or kilocalories, no? So balik lang tayo dito. Sa part na to, no? So to convert this into calories, copying ko muna. So to convert this into into calories, no? So remember, 1 calorie is equal to 4.184 joules. So for the joules to cancel out, no, this should be written on the denominator. So 4.184 joule, 1 calorie. So cancel, cancel. And what else, no? So we want kilocalories eh. So 1 kilocalorie is just 1,000 calories, di ba? Di ba, remember, a kilo, meaning ng kilo, 1,000, di ba? So, yan. So, we can also cancel the calories. No? So, giving us the final unit, kilocalories. No? Sige, solve natin. Okay, so that's 30.80 kilocalories. No? Okay, so yun yung answer natin. No? So yan, you can take a screenshot of the solution. No? Just for your reference. No? And by the way, I will be uploading all the answers sa worksheet, no, on Monday, because Monday we do not have classes, no. Although we do not have classes talaga sa time na yon, but yan. For your other classes na mangyayari on Monday, no, wala kayong pasok nun. Yan lang. Holiday eh. So, screenshot nyo na lang. No? Then, siguro for the last item, no, I want you to answer number 2 na rin. No? So, answer number 2 para okay na tayo. No? So, yan. So, number 2. Okay, so while you're answering, no, I will give you an idea, no, that remember when you are absorbing heat, no, the temperature increases, no. Mathematically speaking, kasi when we say heat is absorbed, that should correspond to a positive Q value. For example, here, no, sige, solve lang kayo, no. So ito, look at our answer. Q is positive because of the term absorb, no? When your system absorbs energy from the outside world, no? If it absorbs the energy, the Q is positive, no? So yan, sana you can remember your thermochemistry ideas, di ba? Whenever you apply heat to your system, the sign of Q is positive, no? So, a positive Q also corresponds to an increase in temperature, no? So, tumataas yung temperature whenever Q is positive. But if your Q is negative, no? Yun yung kabaliktaran, no? So, when Q is negative, what happens is that your system, no? Your system is losing the energy, no? So as a consequence ng pag-lose niya ng energy, what happens is that the temperature drops, no? Bumababa yung temperature. For number 2, what happened to the temperature is bumaba siya from 94 to 5. So if you come up with an answer with a negative sign, that's okay. So, ganun na. So, wag lang magugulat agad, no? So, yung math naman, di naman nakakagulat yan, no? Nakaiyak lang, no? Kaya yun. So, if may masolve kayo negative dyan, no? That's fine. And also, may keyword tayo, ha? Remember, kapag absorb, positive. Pag release, negative. So, yun. keep in mind those ideas, no? Because we will use them in the future. When I say future, mga next month, no? Ay, bare months na. Next month. So, Merry Christmas. Sana matapos na tong pandemic na to. Nakakamiss yung aircon sa FEU eh. So anyway, so let's solve for number 2, no? So, given Christmas agad mo, o ganun nga eh. Grabe, no? Parang kamakailan lang, March, no? Then, the first class suspension, no? Parang we are happy pa, no? Uy, walang pasok. So, yung pala, forever na yung walang pasok na yun. Naalala ko, class namin sa FEU yun eh. As Mayor Isko announced that there are no classes na. For that day lang, Monday yun eh. Fresh pa yun sa isip ko kasi nagla-laboratory kami na. So yun, sabi sa FEU page, no, walang pasok sa Monday. Then suddenly, kinabukasan, no, sabi, wala na rin pasok for that week, no. Tapos after ng week na yun, wala na daw pasok ng isang buwan. As until na, wala tayong pasok, no. Grabe, no. But no, those measures naman are precautionary measures, no, to minimize the risk of us getting COVID-19, no. Pero baliktad nga yung nangyari, mas lalong tumaas, no. We have 200,000 na ba? 100,000 plus. I don't know the numbers na. I don't watch the news na eh. Parang every time you watch news, parang ang bigat sa feeling eh. Nakakalungkot na lang. Why do we have to suffer this much, no? So yan, so sinusulat ko yung yung given, no? Okay, so yan. So yan yung given, no? So to solve for the amount of heat in kilojoules, no? So that is just Q equals MC TF minus TI. Then we're going to plug in all the numbers. So that's 869 grams times the specific heat, 0.444 joule per gram degrees Celsius times 94 degrees minus, final pala, sorry. 5 minus 94 degrees Celsius, no? So, we're solving for Q, so that means there should be units na magka-cancel, no? Specifically, yung grams and yung degrees Celsius. Now, we're just looking for the joules, no? So, Q is equal to 869.444 5 minus 94. Ayun. So, negative 3439.404 joules, no? But again, no, we're looking for kilojoules, so we just divide this number by 1,000, no? So we write it as negative 34.34 kilojoules kJ. So yeah. So correct yung answer natin, no? Okay, so you can take a screenshot again, no, for your reference, no? So that sums up our chapter 1. So, ang question lang, kailan yung lecture nyo? Mamaya? Kailan po yung
Hindi
lecture?
po.
Bukas ako kasi. So for your lecture, you are just going to discuss matter, the importance of chemistry, so on and so forth. No? So For the laboratory, no, we are done already. So, I hope na you understand this chapter very well, no? Because understanding this, no, understanding this part uh, of this course, no, understanding measurement is very important in the future, especially when we go study stoichiometry na or gases, no? So, yung mga ganong bagay, they will require all the ideas that we learned from this. No? So, ayan. Okay, nawala na naman ako. No? But yun nga, no? So, do you have any questions or clarifications?
Wala po, sir.
Okay naman. So, yun. So, this sums up our discussion for today, no? So, that means maaga rin tayo matatapos, no? So, yun. So, what I want you to do, no, since we have, we have a holiday naman next week, no? So, siguro you can answer this, no? So, yun. Again, I will not require you, no? Hindi siya required kasi hindi siya graded, no? Pero it's up to you if you want to practice your chemistry skills, no? Ganun naman ako, no? I give you the freedom to do whatever you want. Basta ito yung materials, no? So, yan. You can try to answer all of these items. I will upload the answer. I will upload the answer on Monday na. So, yan. Including itong maraming to. Ito yung mahirap eh. Ito yung medyo tricky. So, yun. So thank you very much for your participation, no? So, I really appreciate your understanding sa aking situation today, no? Sana, sana hindi, sa mga gumagamit ng Converge, no? Kabahan na kayo. Hindi kayo tulad sa amin sa Valenzuela, no? Na may outage. So anyway, so with that in mind, so thank you very much for your participation. Paano yung ka ba? Ano lang, end ko muna yung recording. No? Yung ano lang, basta just be prepared. No? Ang hirap kasi ngayong online